All right, last time we went through a single deck game, and this is what we ended up with. The running count was negative the entire time, and negative is bad. So you just play the minimum. It doesn't mean you're not going to win. It just means there's no reason to suspect you're going to win. The odds are a bit more against you than normal. So let's play another round. Coincidentally, after the last 9 hands, the player was still at 10 chips. So overall, they had not lost or won anything. Net, anyway. So once again, we're assuming these white chips are $10 bets. And so we're going to deal in and see what happens. So let's see what happens here. A 12 would hit a 16. That's not bad. Dealer has a 16, hits, gets an 18, player wins. All right, so it's even money payout, so they bet 10, they get 10. And this is the first hand. We'll keep track of the running count, number 1. And what do we have here? The 9's not worth anything. The king and the 2 cancel out. The king and the 6 cancel out. So we have a positive 1 running count, and we've gone through about a half a suit. So we'll discard. Player bets. There's no point in calculating a true count at this point. Let's see. Players of 14 versus a dealer's up card of 10. They hit. They bust. So that's it's all over there. Dealer has a 20 at any rate. So they lose their bet. What about the count? Not great here. While the 4 and the jack cancel out, the queen, jack of spades, and 10 give us a negative 3. So after 2, we have a positive 1 minus 3 equals a minus 2 running count. And we're through not quite a quarter of the deck, but it doesn't matter because the count's negative. We're just going to bet the minimum. All right, so dealer checks their hand. They do not have blackjack. Remember, you pretty much never take insurance unless you're counting. So you have a 6, you hit a 6, you get an 8, you have a 14, 14 hits an ace, you get a 20. Dealer has a soft 17, and under the rules of this class, dealer stands in all 17s. Do note that some casinos, dealers will hit that hand. So player wins. What do we have here? The 8 isn't worth anything. All kinds of low cards. The 6 and the ace cancel out. So we end up with a positive 3 from this hand. So we had a minus 2 plus a 3 equals a positive 1. Now, we have played enough cards now that it's worth calculating the true count. We're more than a quarter through the deck. We're not halfway through the deck, though. So we would say, well, we have a positive 1 running count. There is 3/4 of the deck left. That's 4/3 is our true count. And we would just round that down to a positive 1. A positive 1 means bet 2 units. Means bet 2 units. Under the betting strategy that we're using in class, which is admittedly just a basic system. There are 2 chips. The idea is you calculate this before you make your bet, right? You get to bet before your cards come out. So this is indicating a bit higher likelihood of winning. No guarantees. They're small edges. 18 versus a 10. Dealer has a 19. So we lost. And we lost more money. But that's gambling. Right? What do we have here? The 8 and 9 is worth nothing, and the king and the queen are worth a minus 2. There goes our edge. So positive 1 minus 2 is a minus 1. Yeah, I had to stack one of these decks one time so we can see something at work here. Minimum bet, no reason to believe otherwise. 6 versus an 8 hits. Now you have a 13 versus an 8, you'll hit. Now you have a 19 versus an 8. Dealer has a 10, 18, and we win. Okay. Now what do we have for cards? The 8 and the 7 aren't worth anything. And then, all right, you can take the 4 and the 10. They're not worth anything. Now we have a +2. So hand number 5, we have a -1 plus 2 is a +1. But we're halfway through the deck at this point. So we can do another true count calculation. We have a +1 running count just like before, but now we're at a half a deck remaining. This gives us a true count of 2. That +1 means more now because there are less cards left. So the positive indicates that there are more high cards. It's a higher concentration of high cards, and it's a higher concentration in a smaller. We have factored in the size. So it's a +1 in a half a deck. So it scales it up to 2. So with 2, this means bet 4 units under our strategy. So there are 4 units, and we're dealing in. Doesn't mean we're going to win. 18's not bad against a dealer 16, has to hit, gets a 3, 19. You win some, you lose some. Right? So this is easily why it's difficult to play proper blackjack or card count. You have to bet more, and if you lose, it's fine. You just have to keep on going. What do we have here? The 8, 9, and 7 are worth nothing. The king and the 3 cancel out. So there's no change to our count. +1 plus 0 equals +1. We have a bit more than a quarter of our deck left, so we're not going to make a separate true count calculation. We would assume that we're still at a true count of 2. So we bet another 40 units. Yeah, we just lost that bet, and we're going to do it again, because that's what the mathematics tells us to do. And ultimately, if you don't want to play according to the mathematics, then you shouldn't. Right? But you probably shouldn't play seriously then at all, unless you're okay losing the money. 13 stands at a 4. They have a 9. They hit a 14. 9, they bust. Okay. So again, we're just still playing basic strategy here. We're not using our indices to alter strategy. So we won this by playing basic strategy. We bet more because of our card counting. All right, so what do we have for our count? My sweetie just stopped by. She's being quiet in the background. So the 10 and the 3 cancel out, and we have a +3 from those cards, so things are heating up. So we had a +1 running count before, +3, we're up to 4. And not quite to a quarter of a deck left, so we could play conservatively. It's kind of close. So we have a 4 divided by a half, will give us a true count of 8. And I didn't give you a scale for anything that high, so we would just say this is 12 units to bet. And I think we have not quite that much. I have 10 units, so the player goes all in. Everything they've got is on this hand. And this is why you need a large bankroll, because it's a pretty good chance you're still going to lose this hand. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, hopefully. Yep. So this is sort of the dreamed of occasion. When the true count gets really positive and high, it's indicating a lot of these cards that have negative value are in the remainder of the deck. You're hoping for something like this, a pair of 10s or a natural blackjack. So this is a great thing to end up with. And so the payout, of course, is 1.5 times that. So I like props. So that's 10 plus an additional 5 payout. So there we go. Now notice that the count has it's a little less advantageous. While the 5 and the 10 cancel, the ace and the king bring it down a little bit. Hand 8, we had 4 minus 2 is 2, but we're definitely down to the quarter of the deck now. So we have a true count of 2, but there's a quarter of a deck remaining. So sorry, a running count of 2, a quarter of a deck remaining. We still have a true count of 8. So what are we going to do? You know, we can actually bet a full 12 now. So we're putting a big bet in. This is how card counters get noticed. All right. 13 hits a 7. Ooh, a 14 hits a 7. A 15 hits a 7. Now, there are smaller cards left, so it works out this time, right? Just then I was just thinking about basic strategy, right? You do hit. You can be a bit more comforted by the fact that you're hitting a 15 versus a 7, but the true count is so high that there aren't potentially any high cards left. So we'll stay on the 20. Dealer has a 14, hits, gets a 17. They stand. The crowd goes wild, all right? And so this video is in a stark contrast to the previous one. Notice now that the count changes quite a bit. The 7s don't add up anything, but let's see. Actually, the count doesn't change at all right here. This is a wash. So we still have a running count of 2 after the 9th hand. 2 plus 0 is 2. There aren't enough cards left. But you can tell me what these cards are. Pause for a second. If the running count is positive 2, these must be both negatives. All right. So just for posterity's sake, so the player ended up with, they started with 10 chips, and which would be, say, $100, and now there's about 270 so in wins. So that's it.